So, on day one, we heard in our Bible story that Adam and Eve chose to disobey God, and that choice separated them from God and broke their perfect relationship with Him. We also learned that God was going to send a perfect man named Jesus to fix the broken relationship between God and His people. This is a story about that perfect man named Jesus, and it comes to us from the book of Mark, which is in the New Testament. Jesus was on a journey with His disciples when a rich man who had a lot of possessions came running up to Him.
Good teacher, how must I enter the kingdom of heaven?
You called me good? No one is good but God. You know the commandments.
Now, how many of the commandments do you guys remember? One? Do you know which one? Three. You want to give me one of them?
I know thou shalt not kill, honor your mother and father, and do not lie.
Very good, very good. Any others? Yeah.
I know 3 too.
Which ones do you know?
Same ones.
Same ones she does? They're important ones. Yep.
I know do not murder, do not use God's name in vain, and I forget.
That's all right. Very good. Not taking the Lord's name in vain is very important. Yes.
I didn't know if somebody already said mine.
That's okay. If you want to say it again, you're allowed to.
Yes. Don't use Christ in a bad way.
Yep. Very important. Very important. Yep. Last one.
Don't love anyone more than you love God.
Yep. Also very important. A few of the other ones found in the 10 Commandments are to not give false testimony against your neighbor, do not covet your neighbor's wife, and do not commit adultery. Now, why don't we see what Jesus has to say to the rich young ruler about the commandments?
So don't betray your wife. Don't murder. Don't steal. Don't lie about other people. Don't cheat. Do honor the father and mother.
Well, I've obeyed all these since I was a little child.
Jesus looked upon the rich young man and loved him.
You lack one thing. Sell everything. Give it all to the poor. You'll store up great wealth in heaven, and then follow me.
Well, at this, the man's face fell, and he went away very sad, because he had great wealth.
I don't understand. The books and the scriptures say that wealth is a gift from God, but He's telling me to give all that away. I'm so young, yet I've amounted so much. Shouldn't I keep it and glorify God with it instead of just throwing it all out? And He says I'm lacking one thing. If I'm lacking one thing, then everyone must have to lack something. I don't understand. That there's an eternal life that I want so badly, but it's just not worth it to give up my stuff. I'm just wondering if this is a test of what I love the most in my life.
The rich man could have had even greater wealth in heaven, but he missed a very important truth, the most important truth which Jesus was trying to teach him, that Jesus himself is the greatest treasure of all.
How difficult it is for the wealthy to enter the kingdom. Oh, children, how hard it is to enter the kingdom. It's as if a camel was trying to pass through the eye of a needle. It would be easier for that to happen than for the rich and the wealthy to enter the kingdom.
How can we possibly go to heaven then, teacher?
It's not possible by man alone, but by God, and with God, everything is possible. How many of you like my blue camel?
Yeah.
All right.
The other classes, they didn't like it. They thought it was silly that it's blue. I told them. They need to have some imagination. How many of you can see this? What is this? A giant needle, right? So can you see that hole in the end? Yeah? How many of you think I can get this to fit through this? Okay, I see some hands. I appreciate the yeah, okay.
Come on, you're Jesus. You can do anything.
Challenge accepted.
Shrink it with your power.
But see, that's the point. That's a good point. So I would have to do something, right, outside. I would have to change the nature of this for it to fit through this. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I would have to change this completely for it to fit through this. And so what happens when we accept Christ? What does Jesus offer us?
To go to heaven?
To go to heaven. And to get to heaven, when we accept Christ, we are changed. We become fundamentally different. So why do you think it's impossible for man, for human, for us, to change ourselves? Any takers? Yeah?
Because there's only one us.
Yeah. And what else? Can you pick yourself up? No. Can you? So when you sin, I mean, you guys don't sin, right?
Everybody else.
No, you guys are perfect. Surely you guys are perfect.
No.
And there it is. Nobody's perfect. Except
God.
God. And so that is why we can't save ourselves, because we are not perfect. And so God sent his son, Jesus, to die on a cross for our sin, for our sake, so that by us believing in him, we can be changed and we can fit through the eye of a needle and we can fit into the kingdom of heaven. Now, you guys are going to break into your small groups and you're going to talk about